Muay Thai world champion. Now I'm transitioning over to mixed martial arts. Dakota Ditcheva, thank you so much for joining me. How's life right now in your neck of the woods?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, we're getting back to normality a little bit more now, so back to training. Everything's good.
That's good. Now, I wanted to get your reaction because it's kind of something that came up yesterday or today. Paige Van Zant, she left the UFC and she signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. What do you think about that transition?
Oh wow, I hadn't actually heard that yet, but that's crazy. I've heard in the past really she's had a few problems in the UFC, hasn't she? Just the way she's handled a few things. So I'm not really shocked that she's moved away from them, but to see that she's gone into bare knuckle is a big move. Yeah, brave.
Yeah, how brave is that? To me, it's like unbelievable, to be honest with you. Like, you go from, you're not even going to like bigger gloves. You're going to just bare fists where it can really mess your face up terribly. I mean, you could get cut up really bad. I don't know. It's confusing, in my opinion.
Yeah, to me too, to be honest, because obviously she's quite a pretty girl. She's made a lot of money through her modelling shoots and things like that. So to see her going down that path now is a little bit like confusing, as you said. But I mean, I don't know what our plans. Obviously, our plans are different to what everyone thought. So we'll just see how it goes.
All right. Well, hopefully, would you ever do that?
No, I'm not sure I'd go that far. I'd probably say no for now. I mean, in the future it might change, but it's a no from me.
All right. Well, with the world the way it is right now, like you said, you're getting back to normal. But when the COVID outbreak hit, and I know the UK had like very strict protocol for training and everything going on. How much did it affect you outside of training, at least?
Yeah, I mean, it just affected me as a whole. Obviously, my whole life was just in the gym. Like that's my job basically. I just fight and train all the time. So to have that taken away from me was a bit crazy. Like I felt a little bit lost. I was just at home. I wasn't able to go to the gym because they all completely shut. We weren't really allowed out. So it was a big shock to me. But I'm just happy to be back doing it now.
How long have you been back to training?
I've been over a month now. I've been back doing just the odd sessions and things like that, nothing crazy, but it's starting to pick up now. I'm obviously fighting next weekend, so things are getting back to normal. There's going to be no crowd. There's still not as many bodies in the gym for us to train with and things like that, but it's slowly getting there now.
While you were, I guess, locked down, did you go turn to your mother and say, like, we need to train together? Or have you always been training with your mom?
Yeah, I always train with my mum. Obviously, her gym is round the corner to us, but that shut down. So it was kind of like we had the garden done, we had the AstroTurf done, just so that we could get the training done in the garden. But it was, yeah, I did turn to her, but at the same time, she was still working. She works as a police officer, so it was difficult for me to grab her all the time when she's still full time. It was just kind of me at home all the time on my own. So I was just trying to get whatever I could on my own.
Okay. Now, the transition from Muay Thai to MMA, when and why did you decide to make that move?
The UFC was obviously something I've always looked at. That was always where I wanted to end up. So the transition over to MMA was what I needed to do. But I've always fancied like doing the groundwork and things like that, doing jiu-jitsu. Just really, at the time, I never really knew where to go and stuff like that. So to have a few like people say to me, "Oh, move over to this," it's progressing more. Felt like I was at a point in Thai boxing where I was stuck a little bit, didn't really know where I was heading. So when people said, now's maybe your time to try it a little bit, that's when I started to see where that went, and I'm in love with it now. It's really good.
How is it picking up the other aspects of MMA, like the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu?
It's tough. I mean, it's still taking me time now to get used to all that. For going from just stand up completely, not worrying about anybody taking you down. As soon as like you go down on the floor, the ref stops it and you get back up. Whereas like now is a whole different ball game. Like you've got no time to stop. Another thing as well is that you don't get an 8 count as well in MMA. So you don't get a chance to just like stop for a second and then go again. It's like if you stop, the whole fight's over. So it was a big change for me, but I've enjoyed it. I feel like MMA, the style in MMA suits me a little bit more than it does Thai boxing. When I did Thai boxing, it was always dead slow, and I was always a fast-paced fighter anyway. I think that's why I was quite popular. I was quite exciting, so K1 style kind of suited me a little bit better anyway. So moving over to MMA, I just think it suits me even more.
What have been the biggest obstacles for you in training?
I don't know really. Like, obviously learning something from scratch it's going to be hard anyway, but I think the transition from ground to stand up or from stand up to ground is the bit I'm struggling most with. Like, you can be good at jiu-jitsu, staying on the floor, you can be good at stand up, but then getting that transition is like something I'm really struggling with at the moment, just working that out. So I'd probably say that's probably where I'm struggling most.
Now, when you look at the mirror, where do you feel like you've progressed the most? Like, real quickly, like you picked it up more naturally?
Yeah, definitely. The jiu-jitsu, I think, is something I've picked up dead quickly. I think just having it in me as well from my mum, I'm just able to pick different things up like that. So I'd say that's where I've took most to.
Do you like attacking the limbs, or are you more of like a person that likes to attack the neck?
I'm not really sure, to be honest. I'm just quite. I'm better on the top than I am on the bottom when it comes to jiu-jitsu. I'm more aggressive, so I'm better when I push forward rather than defending. So.
All right. Now, with the team that you have, I see that you've been working at Aspire. Do you work at other spots? Do you go to other gyms?
No, just for MMAs, I'm based there, and then for my stand-up and things like that, I'm still at my mum's Thai boxing gym.
So, are you working closely with the head coach? Who are your coaches exactly over there at Aspire?
Yeah, so my two coaches at Aspire, or three, would be Phil Turner, Dean Garnett, and also Aaron Robinson as well. So they're like the three coaches I've got down there. And then I work up here with my mum, Lisa Howarth, and my brother as well, Dakota Ditcheva. So that's like my team that I work with.
Well, Dean Garnett, he's had, a past of working with phenoms, because he has one of the biggest phenoms in MMA, Mohammed Makaev, under his tutelage. So have you gotten to train with him in the past?
Yeah, I mean, I don't partner up with him there. We're on different levels. He's a lot higher with me, but yeah, we train at the same time, same class. So yeah, we're like training partners.
So when you see him in kind of like the success that he's gotten through Aspire, does that give you a lot of confidence in the path that you're taking right now? Yeah,
definitely, 100%. I mean, not even just Mo, like the talent that they've got in that gym, and is unbelievable. That the young athletes that are going to come out of there is going to be massive. So it's just nice to look around and feel confident that you're around a really good team.
You said earlier that you have a fight coming up. Where exactly are you fighting?
Obviously, with the lockdown rules and things like that, they haven't actually given us a location yet. They don't want to hand it out until the last second in case everyone turns up, because it's going to be no crowd. So, it's going to be around Manchester, Liverpool way. So, yeah, it's going to be down my end.
Okay. Is it still amateur, or are you turning pro?
No, I'm still amateur at the moment. So I've had three amateur. This will be my fourth now. Okay. I'm planning on staying amateur for a while if I can get the opponents. Just taking my time, really. Just don't see no rush at the moment to turn pro.
That's good. Yeah, gather that experience. And do you see yourself going to the IMF World Championships or anything like that?
That was something that I really wanted to do, yeah, but because I have a professional record in Thai boxing, they're not letting me do that. So I'm not allowed to fight in them at the moment. So that's kind of gone out the window. But I'm just going to try and stay busy with maybe some international fights and things like that, and just see what I can do.
So what is the timeline for you? Do you want to just stay amateur for the next 2 years, 3 years, or do you have how many fights you want to fight as an amateur? Is that something that you have in your mind?
No, I think we were discussing about going pro maybe towards the end of next year or something, just because we are struggling with opponents at the moment. Like, obviously, as soon as people search my name, I've got this big Thai boxing record, so I don't get away from anything. So I am struggling a little bit, but as long as we can get the opponents, we'll stay amateur. When we start to literally struggle completely, then we'll just take that step and we'll be ready for it when we do.
Yeah, that's the problem with the internet. The internet,
Yeah.
it can be, a hinder for some people with like yourself that have a record in, and world titles and stuff like that. So I guess you just got to take the opponents while they come. Now with I want to go back to talking about your mom, you know what I mean, like her impact on your career. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's massive, really. I mean, like I used to say when I was younger, I got everything I had from her, basically. Our styles are so similar as well. When I first came back, obviously I did it when I was younger. It was something actually my mum never wanted me to do. She didn't really want me to fight. She'd been there. She knows how tough it is. She knows how hard it is. So when I came back to it when I was 13, it was like everyone knew straight away who I was. I was Lisa Howard's daughter. So I always had like a little bit of a head start, I would say, just because of her big name.
But you've lived up to the hype, so to say, right?
I've tried, yeah, yeah. I did. We did joke on. We did joke once, and we said like at first it was like this is Lisa Howard's daughter, and then as I started to live up to my name a little bit, it was like oh this is Dakota Ditcheva's mom, Lisa. So the roles kind of changed, and we used to say like you've got your own name now, like you've stepped up to the mark and you've done really well.
One last thing before I let you go, like some of the biggest influences for you in MMA, when I look at you and your background, I look at someone that's right there at the top right now, which would be someone like Shevchenko. Like, do you see yourself kind of mirroring that? You know what I mean? Like, fighting and then entering the UFC and then just basically taking over?
Yeah, definitely. That's probably the person I look up to most at the moment is Shevchenko. And she kind of started like I did. She was in Thai boxing before. She did the same championships I did, the IFMAs. So she's kind of done the same route. And obviously she's at the top now. It's kind of just the exact same path that I want to go to.